If you've been doing all the right things, watching your spending, packing your lunches, skipping the impulse buys, and you still feel like your paycheck is somehow shrinking, this week probably confirmed something you've felt for months now. You're not imagining it. The numbers caught up to the feeling. For the last year or so, the story most of us were sold was that this would settle down. The headlines softened. The phrase moderating started showing up everywhere. And if you're like most households, you wanted to believe it, because believing it meant the next year could feel less expensive than the last one. But here's the question we actually need to sit with. Not whether prices went up, because you already know they did. The real question is this the part where the pressure starts to ease? Or is something different happening this time? And what should a regular household actually do about it this week? Stick with us, because the answer isn't what most of the coverage is telling you, and the response isn't what most personal finance accounts are telling you either. Here's what just landed. The government released the latest report on consumer prices, and the number that matters came in at 3.8% over the last year. That's the highest annual pace in 2 years. Now, 3.8% doesn't sound dramatic on its own. It's a small number on a screen. But here's what it means in practice. The cost of the stuff you actually buy, food, gas, clothes, the dentist visit, the car repair, the kids' shoes, that whole basket of normal life, is going up faster than most paychecks are going up to meet it. Which is exactly the feeling you've been describing to your partner, your friends, your coworker in the break room. Everything costs more. The raise didn't stretch as far as you hoped. That savings cushion you started building last year, it's already thinner than it was in January. You're not crazy. The data finally agrees with you. But here's where this story actually lands. Not in the headlines, not on a banker's screen. At the kitchen table. Tasha is 41, lives in Phoenix, and has a household budget she could recite from memory. About $900 a month covers her family's groceries, gas, and the boring stuff. Toothpaste, dish soap, the school lunch top-ups. That number used to feel manageable. Tight, but manageable. This year, at the current pace of price increases, that $900 a month basket is going to cost her family roughly $400 more by the end of the year. Sit with that number for a second. $400 is a car insurance payment. That's a full tank of gas 4 times over. Or the new tires she's been putting off. Maybe a weekend with the kids that doesn't happen. And here's the part that hits hardest. Tasha didn't change a single thing about how her family spends. There was no splurge, no upgrade, no vacation, no impulse, no fancier brand of anything. The price of staying exactly the same went up. That's what this inflation report actually means. Forget the cable TV debate, skip the banker's screen. It's the rising cost of standing still. Now the part that has economists more worried than usual. We'll keep this short because we know hearing about inflation for the 10th time this year is exhausting, and frankly, so is reporting on it. The issue isn't that prices went up, it's that they sped up. For about a year, the pace of price increases had been easing. Kind of. Each month, the year-over-year number was slipping a little, then flat, then slipping again. The story was, the worst is behind us, we're just waiting for things to stabilize. Headlines used the word moderating almost weekly. This report broke that story. The monthly number came in hotter than the last several months, and the annual number ticked up to its highest level since the spring of 2023. So what we're looking at is not just stubbornly high prices, it's prices that are starting to climb again. And yes, you're going to hear the phrase basis points thrown around a lot in the next few days, along with whatever new economic indicator the experts decide to obsess over this week. We're going to skip all of it. You don't need any of those words. What you need is the action step. Back to Tasha for a second, because this is where it gets practical. The reason her grocery bill keeps creeping up isn't one mysterious force, it's dozens of small ones. A bag of chicken thighs that used to be one price, now another. The school field trip fee that ticked up. That streaming service that quietly raised its rate, again. None of it dramatic by itself, all of it adding up. What Tasha noticed first wasn't the news report. It was the fact that her usual cart at the store had quietly crept up by about $25 over the last few months. The list hadn't changed, her store hadn't changed. Only the total had. And the thing that made her stop in the parking lot, just for a second, was the realization that she'd already cut. The streaming service was gone. Cheaper snacks for the kids she'd already pulled back. And the bill still went up. That's what re-acceleration feels like at home. Not a headline. The cart total going up while the list gets shorter. So here's what we want you to actually do this week. One small thing. No budget overhaul, no spreadsheet, no shame spiral. Pick one weekly bill or shopping category, just one, and put a hard cap on it that's between $25 and $50 lower than what you spent last month. Could be the grocery trip. Maybe it's takeout. Or the entertainment line. Pick whichever one you already feel a little guilty about. Then, for that one category, swap in the store brand on 3 or 4 items you usually buy. The savings on a single switch are tiny. Across a whole month of that category, however, those switches add up to real money. The point isn't to feel deprived. It's to take one decision back from the rising cost of doing nothing. Because that feeling of paychecks not stretching, it doesn't go away on its own. It gets pushed back, one small choice at a time. We'll be watching the next inflation print closely. There's more to unpack as the next round of data comes out, and a lot of it depends on what households actually do over the next few weeks. For now, the trend is real, and the response is one cap on one category this week. Quick reminder, everything we cover on Decoded Money is for educational purposes only. None of this is financial advice, and we're not licensed financial advisors. Before you make any money moves, do your own research and talk to someone who knows your specific situation. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We do this every week. That's the Decode for this week. We'll see you in the next one.